What many deliberate manifestors don't realise is that starting the manifesting process at the time of the new moon dramatically boosts our chances of achieving our dreams. Chapter 1. Get in tune with the moon. Let me begin by telling you my favourite new moon wishing story. To do that, I need to rewind to when I was a 13 or 14-year-old girl growing up in the city of Hobart in the Australian state of Tasmania. In case you haven't heard of it, Tasmania is an island at the bottom of the world to the south of mainland Australia. The only thing that stands between it and Antarctica is a whole lot of very choppy water and icy air. Trust me, I know, I've sailed it. Wishing on a dream. Back then, my main dream was to get out of Tassie and go and live in Paris, France. I put pictures of Paris on my bedroom walls. I read French poetry and I listened to French music. The first dish I ever learned to cook was quiche Lorraine because, well, it was French. At one point, I even managed to get my hands on a packet of Gauloise cigarettes. Not to smoke them, but to burn them like incense in my room, as I imagined I was a chic Parisienne sitting in a dimly lit Latin Quarter cafe listening to jazz. Unfortunately, my mother smelled them, thought the worst, and I was in a lot of trouble. Fast forward to many years later. I'd qualified as a journalist and I was staying in Paris for a week because a friend had offered me the keys to his flat while he holidayed in Australia. It wasn't my first trip to my dream city, far from it, but it was the first time I had visited as an adult and my first time there alone. As it happened, I arrived in Paris on the night of the new moon, so, naturally, I headed straight for the Eiffel Tower to make my new moon wishes. I figured that the tall spire would be a perfect conductor to send my wishes into the heavens, and that proved to be the case. My wishes that day reflected the fact that I wanted to stay on in Paris for much longer than the week I was booked for. I was a single freelance writer, which meant I could work pretty much anywhere with my laptop as long as I had an internet connection. And I had the right passport. Now that I was in Paris with all these things in my favour, why on earth would I leave? After making my wishes, I made my way back to my friend's flat. As I walked through the beautiful Parisian streets at dusk, a voice inside my head said very clearly, "Right, I live here now." "Ha," I thought, what a strange thing for me to think. And yet, that's exactly what happened. The following day, I spotted a handwritten sign advertising an apartment to rent in one of the most chic districts in Paris, close to where I was staying. I went to meet the charming owner, who I later discovered was a European princess, and she showed me the flat. It was perfect. The only snag was that the owner's husband had a photography darkroom off the kitchen, which the couple wanted access to from time to time. For this reason, the rent was half what it normally would have been in this amazing part of town, just off the Boulevard Saint-Michel. To make things even easier, the owner and her husband spoke perfect English, so I was able to communicate fully with them. My university French still needed some work. They offered me the apartment and of course I said oui straight away, and so it was that I ended up living in Paris for the next 2.5 years. So, did just wishing to live in Paris make it so? Well, not exactly. Rather, I had the dream of living there, and then I did something about it, studying French and visiting Paris. Plus, I totally crystallised my dreams by making my wishes under the Eiffel Tower. The point I'm making is that we're always manifesting. We can't help it. Are you worrying of messing up your life? Then you may well do that. Are you dreaming of living in Paris? Then you may well do that. My dreams of Paris created my reality. A couple of hours after I'd signed the contract on my apartment, a stranger I met in a cafe told me, "Vous avez fait un miracle. You have made a miracle."